This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Public Housing Minister Chris Farfoy takes a walk through the building destined to be the South Dunedin Community Hub. With most of the country at COVID-19 Alert Level 1, it's full steam ahead for the Alexandra Blossom Festival. And the Moturata Tairi Whānau are pleased with a dog grant to help with predator control. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. Public Housing Minister Chris Farfoy has paid a visit to the building set to be the new South Dunedin Hub. The new offices will house financial advisors, offering support and advocacy to those in need.
Dunedin North MP David Clark and Government Minister Chris Farfoy get a sneak peek of the building that's going to house a new South Dunedin Hub for Presbyterian Support Otago. Farfoy says the new offices will see Presbyterian Support's budget advisors all together as they help those struggling with their finances.
The government has kind of toughened up laws against loan sharks, but what is really important is to make sure that on the ground we've got people who've got good knowledge and good relationships with people and mentoring them through getting their finances in shape to be able to look after their families.
Director of Family Works Carmen Batchelor says the financial advice services will not only be aimed at people in South Dunedin but also the wider community, including those undergoing hardship from COVID-19.
In the South Dunedin and wider Dunedin area, we've got people on benefits, low income, who actually need that wraparound support. Are they getting their full and correct entitlements from MSD, IRD entitlements, and of course since the impact of COVID-19 with people losing jobs, we've now got people who have never accessed a social service before. So actually for them to be able to know, hey, everyone needs financial support and advice at some point in their life, and we want to make that a really positive, welcoming experience where it's all under the one roof.
The new hub is a continuation of Presbyterian Support's ongoing government contract to offer financial mentoring to the community.
So it is about a friendly face who knows how to help. And it's really great that this service is going to be here in Dunedin South for the community.
Presbyterian Support are set to start moving into their McAndrew Road offices today. In Dunedin, the South Today.
2 people were injured, one critically, in a 2-car crash in Mosgiel yesterday afternoon. Police were alerted to a crash on Braemar Street just before 4 p.m. yesterday. A person in one of the cars was trapped and had to be freed by firefighters using the jaws of life. St John's say a female patient was critically injured. Another person had moderate injuries and both were taken to Dunedin Hospital. More than 15,000 people are expected to converge on Alexandra this weekend for the annual Blossom Festival. But it wasn't always a sure thing, with organisers holding out against cancelling the event, even in the face of recent COVID-19 restrictions.
This has been a roller coaster. It's been up and down, and left and right and all over the place.
Been a nervous few months for the organisers of New Zealand's longest running festival, but Alexandra Blossom Festival coordinator Martin McPherson says with the South Island now Alert Level 1, it's all go for the annual Blossom Festival spring celebration. While other events were cancelled up and down the country, McPherson and the organising committee were determined to keep progressing into the very last minute.
To the 11th hour, because I wanted to see Alexandra and Central Otago have their 64th annual Blossom Festival. And it's important. It's important we get back to normal as soon as possible. And with the support of this community and the support of the committee, we took a punt and we were right.
With temperatures reaching above 20 degrees, last year's festival attracted more than 8,000 people, boosting the Central Otago economy. But McPherson says while the economic impact will be very welcome, it's the social impact which will be much more important, particularly this year.
There is a direct economic impact. There's probably in excess of $1 million spent through the greater community over that weekend, but I think with COVID, it's not so much the economic impact, it's the social impact. It's the As a community, we are going to celebrate ourselves, our sense of place, and the fact is we have got through this thing called COVID, and things are starting to return to normal, whatever that normal is.
And just like every year since 1957, floats covered in paper flowers will parade down Alexandra's main street. Community groups have been working behind the scenes for weeks, preparing for the festival, and McPherson was conscious of not letting them down.
Blossom Festivals is renowned for its big, large floats made out of paper flowers. And, you know, to be honest, they're getting less and less every year because people are time poor. But the groups who are doing them, like the local youth club, the Lions Club, LJ Hooker Limited, local real estate company, Eat Humble Pie, they're going back to some of those traditional values. There's thousands of handmade paper flowers, and the real pride people put into that, the passion they put into it. They may not be big in numbers as they have been in the past, but they are huge in effort and input.
About 15,000 visitors are expected to visit Central Otago over the next 3 days. In Alexandra, the South Today.
The opponents of the contentious olive leaf building proposed for land beside St Patrick's Church in Arrowtown say its style and size would overshadow the historic church. The fate of the proposed building is being considered at a resource consent hearing in Queenstown this week. About 270 objectors have banded together under the name No Leaf. They say the proposed building openly flouts the district plan. The Guardian-inspired building, designed by architect Fred van Brandenburg, went out for public consultation last year. About 40 submitters are speaking at the hearing, which began on Wednesday and is set to run for 3 days. A volunteer trapping group is set to extend its trapping program in the Allison Conservation Area. Members of the Moturata Tairi whānau say native introduced predators, including stoats and rats, are damaging native rata trees, which are important to local Māori.
Tramping deep into the Allison Conservation Area inside Emouth.
We're fortunate enough this year to get a DOC Community Fund grant, so we can do a big monitor and see what's happening.
Moturata Tairi whānau member Robin Ashton says the rata trees in the reserve are of special significance to the descendants of early Māori in the area. Members of the Moturata Tairi whānau have received $6,000 from the Department of Conservation Community Fund in order to help them control introduced pests.
Our project here in Allison's Bush is to help the beautiful population of rata trees, which are being attacked by possums, and also to look after the birds, so we have some biodiversity traps here as well.
Ashton says the Māori, or life force of the trees, is very important to local iwi, which is one of the reasons they're working with DOC to find a solution to the possum problem in the area. She says they plan to use tracking tunnels and wax chew tags to gauge predator levels. Inside Emouth, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, a classic 1950s fire truck makes a nostalgic trip down south, revisiting old haunts, and a Southern City announcer is all cried out, so find out more after the break.
Hi, Alec Campbell Menswear. We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. And check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alec Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Welcome back. Friends of Grayson Veach, who died in a car crash last Sunday, gathered for burnouts near Mosgiel yesterday. The burnouts were held as a tribute to the 18-year-old motocross champion who died when a ute rolled and ended up on railway tracks in Ravensbourne on Sunday. Police say they attended the event after it was reported to them at 4:30 p.m. Police say they monitored the scene and spoke to those involved. The road being used for burnouts had been closed using road cones, but it was not clear who had closed the road. It was understood it was in relation to a funeral, she said. A classic fire truck dating back to the 1950s made its way to Lawrence recently. The vehicle was purchased online on a whim by a group of enthusiasts, including 2 bona fide firefighters. The only snag was they had to drive the 3.6 litre V6 vehicle down from Napier. The group made a video of their travels south, which included stopping at Waimate, where the fire engine had seen service in the 1960s. The newly restored vehicle will be available for public inspection at next Friday's Lantern Festival in Lawrence. For the past 5 years, Lily McCarrow has been acting as town crier at major events in the Lower South Island. However, next month will be the last time her voice will ring out in Invercargill, Bluff and Gore.
After 5 years working full-time as a town crier in the south, Lily McCarrow is quitting her job to move north. She says she's thoroughly enjoyed her time here, opening events and welcoming tourists and visitors.
It's just such a joy to be able to welcome guests from overseas, and they crowd around you looking for photos because they've never seen anybody that has been a town crier. And yet in Invercargill, I am the 2nd town crier, and in Gore, I am the 3rd town crier.
McCarrow has had 3 uniforms made by SIT students. This one features a heritage lace inset and is pink for breast cancer awareness.
That one of the reasons we never ever call what we wear is a costume, because when we become the town crier, we are the town crier. We're not playing at being the town crier, we are the town crier. And so as a result of that, we wear a livery or a uniform, and so this is what I'm wearing at the moment. I'm wearing a livery.
Having also worked as a lay minister and marriage celebrant, she got the town crier job in part due to having a loud, posh voice. Working as a crier for the Gore and Southland District Councils, as well as the Invercargill City Council, she's been a regular feature at events such as the Christmas Parade and the Bluff Oyster Festival.
Any opportunity to promote Southland as a destination, as a place where if Southland is not good for you, it will be good to you. And that to me is very, very important. We have, of course, the best irrigation system in New Zealand. Perhaps it gets a little windy, but when, as Billy Connolly said, There is no such thing as bad weather, only people that don't dress for it.
Mikero says she's moving up to the Waikato to get married. In Invercargill, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we have Rugby Chat with Paul Dwyer and we take a look at the weather heading into the weekend, so stay with us.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi, Al Campbell Menswear. We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. And check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Thanks for staying with us. Premier Club Rugby came to an end on Saturday with Tairi taking out the trophy for the first time since 2014. In this week's Rugby Chat, Paul Dwyer talks to Mike Casey from Tairi as well as Dunedin Rugby Club Chairman Cam Burrow.
Tairi have turned around and won their first final since 2014. So I've got the club captain and I think we might have been managing on Saturday, Mike Casey. Good to see you here, Mike. And we've got Cam Burrows, who's the chairman of Dunedin. Now the reason we've got him on is because Dunedin were in 3 finals on the weekend and they won them all. And with that they've won the Ains Trophy, and we want to talk about the Ains Shield or the Ains Trophy today as well. So welcome along, Cam. Mike, we'll start with you. Like I called that game on Saturday, first 22 minutes. Unbelievable performance, the most boring team in the world, Tigers, I've been calling them all year. And the boys reminded me of that at the end of the game. But first 22 minutes, you're up 33-0. What the hell was going on?
I think, first of all, we can handle being boring if we're winning, that's for sure. But I think it was just a complete turnaround from last year when Varsity sort of owned us in the first half of the final. We didn't really sort of front. The boys were pretty disappointed in that, and all week we sort of talked about a bit of that, and I could tell they were fizzed all week. And when they came out of that shed on Saturday afternoon, you could just about get electric shocks off them if you touched them. They were absolutely fizz. So coaches did a great job. Shannon Young did a great job of creating that fizz.
Did he pump them up, I hear, Shannon?
He certainly
He's a good
did.
man, Shannon.
He is a good man, great team man, but
okay, so I want to get a perspective from you boys on, and a lot of the players have liked it, and I certainly, talking to the two coaches, including yours last week, and the coaches I've talked to, a one-round comp with the top 6, what's your feeling? I know that's probably not enough games for you, but it is.
Yeah, I think if you had have asked me pre-COVID, I'd have said no, but I'll tell you what, it was pretty good. So I guess if you had one full round and maybe still had the top 8, like quarter-final, semi-final, finals, that'd give you about 11 or 12 games if you make the final.
Yeah.
I guess like 12 games would be quite good, and maybe chuck in a couple of others with the Southern.
Well, I'll bring on
yeah.
to that. So from you're close to the players. You're in fact one of the chairman of the club, but you are one of the players. What are the players saying about the one-round comp top 6 idea?
Everyone's enjoyed it, and I think it also now we're a bit time poor as well. And when you're starting pre-season in January, I mean it's a massive commitment. You're committing half the year to rugby, and while we love the game, we're also doing a lot of other things as well. And from a club perspective, I mean, if it wasn't for those 2 weeks where we couldn't have up more than 100 people in the bar for quarterfinals, I mean, our takings would have been close to on par with last year because everyone got in behind the club and made more of an effort to be at the club when you had those home games.
Yeah, there was definitely that factor where the old demand factor had built up as well.
People wanted some stuff.
I think the grounds held up better as well, obviously.
And, obviously the grounds were in good nick.
Yeah, it's quite a good thing.
I made a comment before our semi-final at Shark Park just saying that it's great to be able to play attacking rugby at the finals end of the season. So often we're playing finals in July where we've got a howling southerly, and actually the best team doesn't always win. But actually everyone can play enterprising rugby. That's what we want to see.
And the full episode of this week's Rugby Chat is available online at odt.co.nz and will also play on Channel 39. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Public Housing Minister Chris Farfoy has taken a walk through the building destined to be the South Dunedin Community Hub. With most of the country at COVID-19 alert level 1, it's full steam ahead for the Alexandra Blossom Festival. And the Moturata Tairi whānau are pleased with a DOT grant to help with predator control. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Craig Page. What have you got for us? It's a big one tomorrow.
Saturday paper. It's always worth getting out of bed for, I have to say.
It is.
One of my highlights, even though I know what's in it already. So, yeah, we've got a bit of a warning story about the dangers of boating at Tairi Mouth. Earlier this month we had 2 incidents within a week where boats were upturned as they tried to cross the bar out there. So we've talked to Milton fisherman Jim Murdoch, who was involved in the first incident. And a bit of a harrowing story, really. The boat just filled with water. He got tipped out and spent about 40 minutes, had a life jacket on, but 40 minutes treading water, trying to keep warm until he could be rescued, and really thought he was going to die. So it's been a bit of a wake-up call for him. And also emergency services, with 2 incidents in a week, it's prompted them to call a public meeting to really educate people about how to negotiate that bar, because it has been a long time. Every year there's 1 or 2 that get turfed out there. So
yeah, and you can't be complacent with the sea.
No, certainly not. So hopefully something good will come of that, and people will take up the option of getting along and learning something about it. We also take a bit of an in-depth look at student drinking and how the university is now sort of approaching the issue. They've spent years battling that booze culture down there, as you well know.
It's definitely been a good 25, 30 years, isn't it?
Oh, probably longer. Really.
Yeah.
And they're kind of looking at new ways to keep students safe on the back of the death of student Sophia Cristani last year, who tragically died in the student party. We've got the OUSA has purchased Starters Bar, and they've successfully extended their hours, which sort of goes against the trend in the city at the moment. And there's also possible extension of drinking hours at residential colleges. So it's kind of a full turnaround, really, where they're now saying maybe students are better off drinking in sort of controlled environments rather than at flats where who knows turns up and they cram in. So we talked to Vice-Chancellor Harleen Hayne and also some other experts in the area. It's really good read, actually, well worth a look. We've got the weekend mix, first part of a series looking at how susceptible Otago is to a major earthquake, so that'll keep everyone on edge for the weekend, won't it?
Yeah, there's been a few
make
little
them
tremors
nervous.
lately.
Yeah, former staffer Paul Gorman received a bit of a grant from the Journalism Fund and the EQC to have a look at the earthquake situation in the south, fault lines and how susceptible and how well prepared we are for a major earthquake. So first part tomorrow, yeah. We'll be on edge after reading that. And finally, sport. All eyes on New Plymouth on Sunday. You don't say that very often, but Ranfurly Shield game, Otago and Taranaki. And yeah, looking to bring home the Shield again. So that would be one way to fill up the stadium in coming weeks if we could win that. So best of luck to the boys.
Wonderful, thank you. And you can get all of that in tomorrow's newspaper. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the city view, setup is underway for the Baseline Drum and Bass Music Festival at Wingatui. Looking at the situation, serious weather is on the way for southern districts in the next few days, with gale force winds possible in many areas on Sunday. Severe gales about the coast on Monday and Tuesday, and snow will reach low levels and could affect the main cities with heavy falls expected inland. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, rain is on the way with 16 degrees in Greymouth and 15 in Westport. To the northeast, cloudy skies with 18 degrees in Blenheim. Nelson is due for showers and 17 degrees. Moving to Canterbury, mostly sunny with 18 degrees in Kaikoura, a few clouds and 19 in Christchurch and 18 in Ashburton. Moving to the southern outlook, Balclutha, Catlins, Lumsden and Gore can all expect freshening to strong northwesterlies and increasing cloud. Looking at a high of 15 in the Catlins and Balclutha and 14 for Lumsden and Gore, who will later on get some rain as well. Moving to Central, Alexandra, Queenstown and Wanaka, you can expect increasing northwesterlies with rain later on and a high of 17. Tiana, you're in for some strong northwesterlies with rain and a high of 14. To the northern outlook, Timaru and Oamaru, it's increasing northerlies with some high cloud for you both. Timaru reaches a high of 21 and Oamaru 19. Twizel and Amarama, you can expect fresh northwesterlies with increasing cloud and a high of 18 for both of you. And in Dunedin tonight, fine with northerlies and with an overnight low of 7. Mostly fine tomorrow with sunny periods and high cloud and freshening northerlies. Looking at some rain and strong to near gale force northwesterlies tomorrow night, a high of 15 and a low of 9. And it's strong cool westerlies on Sunday, which could be near gale force at times, a period of showers around the middle of the day, then clearing. Look out for low-level snow showers and strong to gale force southwesterlies on Monday. So wrap up, tie things down, and it's going to be cold. Looking at a high of 12 and a low of 4. And in Invercargill, fine tonight with some cloud with an overnight low of 9 degrees. Cloud increasing and rain developing tomorrow with northwesterlies becoming strong. Some thunderstorms and gales possible tomorrow night, a high of 14 and a low of 7. And it's cold on Sunday too with frequent showers, some with hail. Strong westerlies will tend southwest and may reach gale force at times. Again, low-level snow showers and bitterly cold southwesterlies up to gale force are possible on Monday, a high of 10 and a low of 3. And that's all for our news this Friday and indeed the week. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz or follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear. Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.